Joining us today is a young emerging artist who has already won over 50 international prizes at just 20 years old. Portuguese-Ukrainian pianist Máximo Klyetsun, who has most recently achieved a massive historic milestone, becoming the first Portuguese pianist ever selected for the prestigious Arthur Rubinstein International Piano Competition. Maximo, it is an honor to have you on the channel.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so we'll start with the questions. Since you began your own piano journey at the age of 6, directly inspired by hearing your sister practice the violin, was there any other moment that influenced you to pursue it as a career?
So, actually, because of course my sister used to play, right, and she plays, and my family was involved through my mother's side, right? She used to play as well when she was a kid, and my grandmother too.
Mhm.
So, I actually had this impulse, like the family, to practice and to play, right? But I think the most exciting thing for me that actually motivated me to play more and maybe become a concert pianist is actually listening to Matsuye when I was a kid because I just love the energy that Matsuya has on stage. So I was just, how to say, so excited and I wanted to do the same.
I see. I've actually met Matt Swift before at like a competition. He was a jury, and
Mhm.
yeah, his performance live was really energetic. The next question is, given that your concert repertoire spans heavy romantic and demanding virtuosic works from Chopin's 24 Preludes to Rachmaninoff's Corelli Variations, do you have a favorite piece or composer?
It's actually difficult to choose a composer, right? But I think actually each composer has like brilliant works that I cannot say that I hate or love, right?
Mhm.
But I think that, for example, Rachmaninoff is something I really love, like something I really feel very connected. Chopin as well, I really love it. You know, actually, I think it's very difficult to play,
Mhm.
but I love it. And of course, Liszt as well for me, the virtuosic and the I know the showman he is just for me is incredible.
Yeah, I love Chopin and Liszt too. I think we have like similar styles, similar
Yeah,
tastes.
Schumann is good as well. I love the Etude Symphonics by Schumann. I think
Mhm.
I play them. It's just I find it like every time I start again like practicing or remember, it's just out of this world to be honest. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that piece too. Having already graced massive European stages, from your live recital at Casa da Musica broadcast on Antenna 2 to your opening concert for the Young Piano series at the Zentrum Paul Klee in Bern, which performance are you most proud of or resonates with you the most?
Ooh, the most proud of. To be honest, the performance I have most fun are the ones I play with like other pianists. You know, sometimes we play
Mm.
like together, right, concerts, and I just actually it's fun because we are all together and we are like in the same energy because we are giving a concert together. Those ones are really fun. But to be honest, I love the Centro Paul Klee in Switzerland. You know. The Swiss audience was actually really, how to say, really strong, were really passionate when I finished to play. And the hall itself is really, I don't know, unique and beautiful. And the piano, the Steinway was awesome, to be honest, yeah.
Nice. What did you perform there before?
So in Central Paul Clay, I think I played Le Tombeau de Couperin and then the Pachelbel, then the Variations of Kapustin and the Preludes by Chopin.
Mm-hmm.
The funny story is that before that, I actually, because I had a problem in September, and I performed there, I think, in the end of October, and I had like a kind of a stroke. I don't know. I had a spasm in my brain,
Oh.
and yeah, I had like a really bad week, and then I needed to learn these pieces, and it was like a bit difficult after this situation. But then I was like full, not memorize, learn them. It was like a lot of hours. So
Mhm.
maybe that's why as well I feel like really good after it because it just was a lot of work to be honest. Yeah, a lot of work.
That would have been like a massive challenge.
Yeah, a bit, a little bit. Yeah.
Mm. As your artistic development has been guided under the mentorship of Angelo Martingo at the University of Minho, alongside private studies with Marian Pivka, which musician do you like the most, or are you most influenced by?
So if I talk about my like teachers, right? I'll be honest because as I started in the conservatory, right? So I had this Maria Hoffman, which
Hmm.
is a Finnish teacher, a pianist. She's in Portugal. So it's different approach actually from each teacher I have. So from Maria, I learned one thing, maybe the passionate stuff, because she loved to sing. And then with Pivka, I had the private lessons. It's the Moscow Conservatory, really serious, a lot of poetic, I don't know, expressions, different school.
Hmm.
And with Angelo Martingu is like actually he studied with Rubinstein as I study as well right now, but he studied with him and with Fasina, and in England as well. So it's another approach. So I learned from all of them. I cannot say just one is better than the other. I think it's everybody influenced me, you know, even Rybisky as well, you know. So it was everybody gave something for me to improve, and that's the most important thing to be honest.
I see. I think given that you have like a range of piano teachers that you've learned from,
Yeah.
what were some of like the variety of like advice did you learn from them?
So again, for example, from the beginning with Maria, I would say it's actually it's the singing. She was always singing, moving my body, you know, like I'm in the lesson, she's moving my body and, you know, like free and, you know, always singing. So I think the singing part would be from her. And then from the Russian school, I actually don't know how to explain it. It's just something really deep, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something deep, like understanding sometimes the sound itself, you know, even the technique, but the sound as well, you know, the importance of the sound, always trying to get deeper, 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 no matter the piano, which is crazy. And then with Angelo Martingo, I would say, because he spends a lot of time practicing with me, actually, with all his students, to be honest.
Hmm.
He has another, you know, maybe more detailed in a lot of his ideas, and he works a lot with his ideas, approaches that actually help a lot. And a bit of this, you know, more maybe more short form stuff and the phrasing a bit different.
Hmm.
And with Rybitsky is like the, I would say the old school. He's very open. He lets like if you are convinced with what you want to do with your idea, you can do it as long as it's not too dramatic, like it's not too against the composer, let's say, you know.
Yeah, I think it's really great that you had a variety of teaching methods that you learned from, which
Yeah,
like evokes a lot of different sides in music.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's always good
Outs
variety. Yeah.
Mhm. Outside the practice room, what do you do off stage that inspires your musical artistry on stage?
So I really like to live life. You know, it's life because actually I think Sultanov in his interview, there's a video on YouTube, and he says like just reading books, it's not, I think it's not enough because then it's like a library or something like this, he said.
Mhm.
But I think it's important to live life because the composer wrote. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of everything. You can read movies that can inspire you. But I think when you talk with somebody face to face, when you're experiencing something in your life, you broke an ankle, you cry, you laugh, somebody dies, you know, somebody's born, and you see all of this. And I think this is what can make actually your music and help me actually to go on stage and imagine. For example, I go to the sea, I see the sunset, I go to the nature, to the mountain, I go play football with from Angola, Brazilians, and it's all different characters, different cultures, and all of this still, you know, how to say, inspires me when I'm on stage. Because of course, when I'm on stage, I'm not thinking about all of this, but all the emotions that I have lived in my life, actually, I think it's what influences what I do, you know, when I play. When I feel good when I'm playing. Not always is the best way, you know, not always we feel the best to play, but
Mhm.
especially when I'm inspired, I think living life is important, you know? Living life is important.
Yeah, that's true. I also love football. Could you like elaborate on how it
Yeah.
affects your playing and inspires your playing?
So I mean, football, the soccer, not the American, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, football, the real one. So I think football in the sense of resistance. I don't know because when I go play, it's a lot of resistance. Sometimes it's teamwork, which actually we don't have in music, but actually we do have because it's a teamwork of me with the composer, me with the piano. I have to adapt. So when I play in the streets, we have to adapt with different people. So I think the piano this helps. I have to adapt to different pianos. I have to adapt what the mechanics are going to reply to me, and he has to be quick, especially on competitions, right, where we don't have time to actually get to know our friend. So yeah, I think that adaptation, resistance. I wouldn't say it helps a lot in terms of being smart in the sense because football is kind of physical, you
Mhm.
know, and when you play with a lot of people, there's not a lot of mind into that. Actually, I like to think a bit, but I think especially the adaptation would be the maybe the most I can correlate with the piano.
I see. That was a really unique perspective. Thank you for the insight.
Yeah, maybe.
Knowing that graduating from the École Normale de Musique de Paris with distinction demands very high standards, do you have any unique practice techniques or routines to achieve such a level of performance?
So I actually have this. I don't really plan my practice time because as I'm in my city, right, and I have a piano at home, so I have more freedom in this sense.
Mhm.
But sometimes I feel like if most important is when it's not really working for you to practice, let's say, when it's not really the feeling, like your fingers are not there, your mind is not there, which is the most important thing. I think it's better not to practice on the piano.
Mhm.
Maybe you can actually listen to something. I wouldn't say that your piece, because sometimes if I listen to the same piece I play, I can be influenced, you know. Actually, you can get motivated, but then you are not working in your idea, actually.
Mhm.
But I would say maybe you can listen to another composer, maybe orchestral works. For example, as a pianist, maybe you can listen to some symphony, or I don't know, chamber music, for example. And even that, maybe you just read the score, like get the score, read it, go outside, you know. But
Mhm.
actually, when I practice and when I'm good, I really like to practice, separate hands sometimes.
Mhm.
When I don't know, like sometimes I'm obsessed with that, and I wouldn't say it's the best when I'm obsessed, but I think the separate hands is kind of important to know what what is happening in each hand. And I would say as well, sometimes to practice as you're going to play on stage. Because sometimes we are so focused on the details and doing best, and the teacher says this, the teacher says that, but then just get confused. I get confused a lot of times. So sometimes what helps is really practice what you are going to do on stage. So play as you are going to play on stage. That's why a lot of times we have to play in smaller rooms or for teachers or for your friends, so we kind of get again what we want to do. So I think at home could be done this as well. And of course, like look at the scores, practice the mechanical stuff, the technical stuff, different rhythms, like different approaches. Not just, for example, if there's like a 4 4 4 4 4 fast passage, I like to do 1 2, then the 3 4 1 2, 3 4 1 2. Like
Mhm.
separate. If it's written four together and another four, I like to separate. Like to give the weaker fingers, let's say, more importance in the technical aspect. Maybe something like this. But I feel really importance before going on stage and before performing, which is what we really want to do, right? Is to play for somebody, is to practice at home sometimes how I'm going to do on stage. Am I ready to go on stage? Are my ideas ready to go on stage? And are they actually workable and efficient? That's the most important thing. That I work still. It's not perfect, but I still work on that. So maybe this.
I agree that you mentioned you should practice as if you're performing because it's always really easy to get carried away by the small details. And if you focus on them too much, like your progress will be slowed down.
No, it's true because sometimes we think, wow, I did all these details. It happens to me. I'm practicing all these details for maybe hours, let's say. But then when I'm going to play, like, what's the point? I didn't. There's no actually contribute of so many details that I did.
Mm.
So that's why sometimes actually living life, again, that question about life when I answered is important because sometimes I might not practice. I go and I experience something new or I just experience something in my life, right?
Mhm.
And I can play kind of even the details are better. I don't know. Your mind is always working, so I think sometimes it's better to turn off.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah.
After performing as the first Portuguese pianist for the 2026 Arthur Rubinstein International Piano Competition, are there any exciting performances you've planned?
So right now I'm actually planning something. I played
Mhm,
in Lisbon now in the opening of a competition, a Wales piano competition, which was actually interesting, was great as well because of Rubinstein.
mhm,
But for me, the most important thing actually of representing Portugal as a country, because my family is immigrant, right? It's like, as you said, Ukrainian is Slavic, so we know that Russians, Ukrainians are good at piano. But I
mhm,
was born in Portugal and it's different. It's not the same still, but I still have some cheat code that usually people don't respect actually Portugal, I
mhm,
might say in the world. Like you wouldn't say pianist from Portugal, it's going to be the best, right? People don't think. People think about Chinese, Russian, Americans, French, but Portugal's a bit off. And
mhm,
actually, one of my things right now is I feel that I could, help as well put Portugal in the map because, of course, we have Maria João Pires, Arthur Pizarro, and Sequeira Costa. It's not about that, but the new generation, we need to come back, and I think we can put Portugal on the map because it's a great country. We have a lot of competitions as well, a lot of festivals, and we just need to give value outside. So that's one of the things I'm really proud to say that in the Rubinstein to be in the first Portuguese, and I hope I'm not the last one. Okay, so it's just to motivate everybody. I really want more people to go and more people because it's just awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you were the first one to represent your country.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should really feel proud about that. Mhm. Considering that balancing intense international travel while managing the extreme psychological pressure of international piano competition requires resilience, what have been the greatest challenges of your career so far, and how did you overcome them?
Hmm. So maybe the most difficult for me was after that problem I had that I said when I had in September last year, and I had to play in Centrum Paul Clay. So I had like 1 month, maybe I needed to learn more than an hour of program. So I would say maybe that was the most. But I think, to be honest, sometimes our psychological problems, let's say when we get nervous,
Mhm,
it's because we don't zoom out. Sometimes we need to zoom out and really understand what's the importance of the things. Like even on Rubinstein, because it's a lot of program actually, right? And I would say sometimes we just need to enjoy. We have to enjoy the process. Even during the competition, we have to be serious. We have to be concentrated. But you have to enjoy the process you know I think Kevin Chen in the beginning when there was like everybody got together and he was there speaking with the Japanese girl and Vardy was there and Ariel. So he
mhm,
said you cannot do nothing. Like you had to practice before. Right now you have to play, and it's true because I would say even in all the problems we might have, the psychological pressure or we think we are not ready, we think we are not good enough. It always happens to everybody, everywhere. It's not just in piano, or it's in sports, it's everywhere. And I would say that most important thing is you have to enjoy the process.
mhm,
You shouldn't take too serious the things. You should have a bit of playfulness in that. It helps a lot. And again, even all the difficult things you do, live in life, I would say. Have to live. And if you are too nervous, you cannot live. So every moment you are in a big competition, you have to live this big competition. You know, it's unique. It might not repeat again. So I think you should just enjoy as well. Enjoy the process. Enjoy playing. Even if you are not completely ready, enjoy. Show your character, show your personality. And I think it should help in all psychological problems and difficulties that anybody will have, of course, and right now maybe has. I think you just have to zoom out, look at the big picture, look what you want to do, look at the future, look at the past, and look what you have to do now. And I think that's the most important thing, is to live what you have to do, enjoy, not too much, be concentrated,
mhm.
disciplined, of course. I'm not saying just be now free of your no, of course discipline and concentration, but the future, past and present, but the present keeps to be the most important thing. So I would say that just live life.
Yeah, it's really inspiring that you mentioned that it's really important to enjoy. And your words like reminded me of there's like a Korean saying that says you can't beat someone who enjoys, like someone who truly enjoys something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
it's your own personality. It's your own life.
mhm.
The teacher can say whatever he wants. And this is bad what I'm saying, but the teacher can say whatever, the jury can say whatever he wants. The public can say whatever he wants.
Mhm.
But what's the reality is you are playing, you are practicing, you are living your life, and then if you die, what happens? What can you say, So that's why you have to, Sultanov died so young, but you see the character that he had, even in Chopin competition, right? So the character of a person is what demonstrates, even on the difficult situations. Enjoy, try to enjoy, live your life, and it will always be good. If not today, tomorrow.
Yeah, I really agree. And now we're moving on to the Rubinstein competition questions since this is part of like the Rubinstein competition series.
Of
So
course.
first of all, since the unique 2026 competition required stages 1 and 2 to be relocated to the Kronberg Academy in Germany instead of like the original location, how has preparing for this unexpected situation altered your mentality and added to the psychological pressure of being in a competition?
So actually, we had to practice. At least I practiced almost all the rounds. I think they told us maybe 3 weeks before that we don't need to play. It will not be the finals in right after the 2 rounds, right? And they will postpone it, as I understood. Then they said in September, but actually we had to prepare the concertos and the chamber music with the program.
Mhm.
And I would say that actually maybe the everybody wanted to play in Tel Aviv. I would say everybody wanted to play there. And I can say by me, but for sure everybody wanted to play for the audience in Tel Aviv. And it's of course another environment, to be honest. When you see the videos and all the stories, of course, when you go to Kronberg Academy, of course it's a wonderful facility. I won't say that it's wonderful facilities, but it's not the same spirit. So maybe that was one of the most, for me, maybe one of the most like okay, you know, because I really wanted to feel, the Tel Aviv air, those, the Jewish, everything about it. But what can we do? We have to adapt. Again, we are pianists. We have to adapt. So the adaptation kind of had to be just natural. Kronberg Academy is a wonderful academy. They have wonderful facilities. There was Steinway and Bechstein, right? The Steinway had as well pianos to practice. The hotel was really next to, like, in the same area. So it was actually awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, watching the Rubinstein competition, like the past versions, and in this version, like seeing different backgrounds of piano, and it was kind of awkward and different, but I see how you mean. Like it was also a good experience that you had
Yeah.
to adapt to. And the next question would be, knowing that the competition is dedicated to preserving the legacy of Arthur Rubinstein by seeking a performer whose music lies like deep in their soul rather than just rewarding like technical perfection. How did you emulate Rubinstein's famous philosophy in communication, humanity, and direct connection with the audience?
So that's a good question because the audience was not the biggest one, right? So
Yeah.
that's but the ones that were there actually there was really good ones. There were two ladies from Israel actually. They fly there and
Oh,
they were really supportive to everybody actually. But they chose who they wanted to support, I noticed. And when I talked with them, they said, no, no, but we choose who we want to support more and we don't support less. So there was as well the jury of the public, let's say. But what can we say? Even the audience was not full. Of course, that was maybe the most maybe pity thing about what happened. Because everybody, Rubinstein and Rubinstein and Rubinstein. Rubinstein was how to say another personality, like Sultanov, like Horvitz. Like that's why everybody remembers them because it's just personality people, and that's why the competition has this power because it's the name of somebody really important, right? Even in the Chopin competition when he was really very important, and even just giving concerts everywhere was important, right? But I would say that the most pity thing was there was a little public, right? But playing for Marta Argerich and playing for even Ari Vardi, all the Gililov and Palechny, we have to try to play as there was a lot of people. Of course, it's another energy. The more people you have, it's another energy. It's another silence. It's another. Of course, but we have to try imagine there was more people. At least I tried and tried to enjoy. Of course, not easy. I wouldn't say it's easy, but we had to enjoy. We're playing for Argerich, we're playing for these people. Even the jury junior was there. So there was some people. I wasn't full, but there was some people. So I would say the philosophy of Rubinstein everybody has to have. Like the public is the most important thing. We have to play the personality. What I'm speaking all this time, it's all about character, personality, living life. There's no better pianist to explain living life as Rubinstein. He enjoyed, right? You just see the videos of him walking on stage. It's just another, like it's just this guy just came and making music like it's another, taking breakfast or having dinner like it's nothing. So again, we are focusing a lot now on technique, a lot of rules, everywhere. Not just in piano music, but even like in football now you can see. Like it's so tactical. There's a lot of we feel that there's not much risk, passion, and of course if you make a mistake anywhere, but sometimes the mistake can be so unique that everybody remembers you. So I don't know how to say it, but I think the passion is what we need to go for, even in competitions. Even in competitions, if everybody comes there to play with their own personality, with their own passion, even if they break some rules, even Beethoven said, you know. So if Beethoven said we can break the rules, that doesn't mean that the normal pianist can't, right? So I would say that it's important to play with passion, and to continue the legacy of being passionate because music that's how we touch the hearts of people. Lang Lang touches the hearts of a lot of people. A lot of critics critique him, but first you have to know how to play like Lang Lang. Secondly, how can you break so many rules and still it sounds so good? You know? Matsuyev is a beast. So many people don't like him, but he's a beast. You know, I got excited when I was a kid. People get excited when they listen to him. Yuja Wang, you know, everywhere, even Argerich, Rubinstein, Horowitz, Sultanov, I don't know. Just the people love personalities, so that's a good key point, I would say.
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned personality because the next question is about like considering that Rubinstein competition grants contestants almost completely free choice over their 35 to 40
Mm.
minute stage one recitals and 50 to 60 minute stage two recitals. What was your main focus in terms of artistry to make your voice and interpretation stand out to the famous international jury members?
So I would say in the program that I chose to play, of course, the competition as well replies to you if you can play this piece or you cannot play this piece, blah blah blah. But I would say even the pieces that were then approved, I would say that what I chose is the ones that I feel that I can play them in the sense that here I show something different, which I think is important. Sometimes the concept of making a program, like let me make this idea of a program, but can you play this program? Like, do you really are into this program? Because a lot of times they say you have to build a program, but sometimes I think it's important to build a program that you can play and show your personality. If even if you play the Liszt Rhapsody and Rachmaninoff Corelli in one round, that's what I played. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to end with this firework piece, like Liszt Rhapsody, right? Number six with the octave, because I really like to play it. So if I like, why can I not play it? You understand? And then the Rachmaninoff, because it's a composer that I really feel in with it, you know. So I chose it for the first round, and I chose that Jewish piece from Hilesium, the two preludes, because for me, it was the best out of all the imposed pieces, and I wanted to start with it because it was the imposed piece, the Jewish piece, and if it was in Tel Aviv, I think even more energy would feel to start the competition with such piece. Nobody knows it, almost nobody knows it, but it's so beautiful, you know. And that's how I started. I started with the 20th century, then went to Liszt to finish the first round. In the second round, I really wanted to play Mozart because I'm more a Beethoven guy. I never played much Mozart, so I really wanted to play Mozart, and I love this sonata in D major. So I played this sonata of Mozart. Then I went to Chopin, which I think is a good connection. All the preludes, which is maybe a crazy piece to play in competitions. And then I played the toccata as like an ending by Ravel, right? So like an encore to say.
Mm.
So I would say something that really I feel like I wanted to play. Maybe it's not the best option, but I would say something that you're really good to play. Doesn't matter actually, maybe it's the pieces you will play. If you really will play really well, I think it will just it will end up good, you know.
Yeah, I have one question. Did the choice of playing the Rhapsody number six, was it like
Mm.
influenced by the fact that there was Argerish in the jury members? Like, did you know that before?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, 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 of course. I wanted to show off a bit of my octaves, to be honest. Yeah, I had to
Yeah,
show off. Yeah, of course, of
yeah,
course.
because she's like really famous for that piece.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course.
This would be the last question. So, what was your preparation for the Rubinstein competition like?
Why preparation? So first, with the incognita, if the competition was going to happen, right?
Mm,
So it was a bit like we are practicing, but we don't know what's going to happen, right? So this is the first take. And the second thing would be it's a lot of repertoire.
mm,
And then in the process, I did broke my ankle, right?
oh,
So I had to practice without pedal for a long time, or with the left leg. So a lot of my practice was without pedal,
mm,
which wouldn't be the best for everything, especially before a competition, like 1 month before the competition, a lot of without pedal, which I don't recommend because it's strange that it's a bit strange.
mhm,
Then the third take would be for me, yes, I did a lot of trying to do details, you know. I try to do the details, 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 details. But I would say maybe you have to run more the program, play more. Like maybe 1 month before already play like 3, 4 times. I think would be important, which I couldn't do because I did broke my ankle, so I couldn't do much of the concerts. I did one,
mhm.
so and I didn't actually play the preludes. So I just did in December in another competition. So yeah, I think it's important to play. I would recommend playing the concerts, like organize 3 concerts, 4 concerts, I don't know, in your school, in university, and play because that helps. That really helps. It's for me help, especially for the first round, which I played more in public before the competition. And I would say details are important, but not too much details. You know, I wouldn't say because I did so many details because I was practicing as well without pedal, and it was just like I was trying to do the legato with my hand, everything, separate hands, because then I was tired with my leg, so I had to one left hand, right hand too much, and it's sometimes I would just recommend to not do too much anything. Not too much details, not too much just playing with pedal, not too much without pedal, not too much playing in public, and not too much not playing public. So not too less. So everything is a balance, I would say. So find a balance. But I would say like run the program is important. I would say, of course, look at the details, look at the score. Maybe have some master classes, I don't know, lessons with somebody to have new ideas. But I would say most important thing is to have the ideas in your mind and not to be influentiated. Okay, I think that the key take to know what you want to do. If you know what you want to do, it will give a good impression, I would say.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah,
finding the balance is really important. And it's such a
that's the
shame
one.
that you broke your ankle.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it would have affected like your preparation a lot.
Yes, it was like maybe 2 months before, and then I had surgery as well. So,
Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. So I had to like practice a lot of time without the pedal. Yeah, so it was different, but it's experience again, adaptation.
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful interview and all the
Yeah, thank you
stories
very much.
from the Rubinstein competition.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.